You can decorate your space with the most minor and quick fixes. Yes, it's actually possible. Did you experience during lockdown that when you were sitting by your living room, you were so bored of the same sofas and the same color walls and same everything? Did you get really bored of it? Well, what if I tell you that you can change and make these small minor fixes just by completely giving a quick makeover to your space, and it looks almost like it's absolutely new. And guess what? You're going to be barely spending much, so it's actually on a budget and it's going to completely transform your space. So stay tuned till the end of the video if you want to find about what these quick fixes are. Hi, I'm Tani Sixeria, the founder and CEO of Little Miss Designer, a luxury interior design brand. If you're here to find out about any tips, tricks and hacks and anything to do with interior design, then you're at the right place. So let's jump right into the topic. These are some of my favorite ways in how you can uplift your living room. 1. Curtains. 2. Rugs. 3. Cushions. 4. Artwork. 5. Wall panels. 6. Planters. 7. Artifacts. So stay tuned till the end of the video so you're going to know exactly how each of these can absolutely uplift yours. 1. Curtains. Now when you're changing the curtains of your living room, you should keep some of these things in mind. So if you have a very regular shade in your curtain, for example, let's say a very neutral color, what you can do is you can add a bit of a pop color to absolutely brighten up that space. So you can go for nice shades of blues, greens, turquoise, or even magentas. They really make the space look really nice and cozy. But just make sure when you're doing this that the rest of the furniture of the walls are slightly muted, as in case you have too many colors there, then maybe you would have to stick to your muted, neutral colors for your living room curtains as well. Now, this being the right material for your curtains, you should try to select something that is polyester based. Either it could be 100% polyester or it could be a mix or a blend of polyester in it, because this adds a bit of a sheen to the curtains, definitely not making it look too barring, but at the same time adding a bit of that beautiful aspect to it. Now, a great hat about curtains is there are various patterns. There are pleats, there are American pleats, there are so many types of curtains. If you tell me to choose between a blind or a curtain, if it's a residential living room space, I always recommend you should go for living room curtains, because I feel it adds a really coziness and cuteness to a space, whereas I feel blinds add a little more commercial version to the space. So I would definitely recommend that you use curtains. Make sure that no matter what the height of your windows are, let's say it is about 3 feet from the floor sill height and about 3 feet above that, and you have about, let's say, 2 feet above of like wall space going completely empty to the ceiling. But so what if your windows are not big? You can always use this magic trick to make your space look bigger by taking the curtains all the way from the ceiling to the floor, so that you can't really tell when it is shut what the size of your window is, but it definitely makes your space look so much taller. So make sure that you create like a pelmet or something so you can hide those rods of the curtains so it doesn't mess with your aesthetics as well. 2. Rugs. Now this is a complete uplifter game. Now what happens getting ready, right? Let's say you've worn your shirt and pants or you've worn a dress, but you're not wearing anything to accessorize it. Like for example, maybe it could be a bracelet, it could be a ring, or it could even be a watch. So what happens is when you accessorize with your dressing, it makes the space look much better, doesn't it? The same thing works with your living room. If you have all the furniture placed and all the lightings placed, but you don't have a rug, it absolutely looks incomplete. So the best way to do this is add a beautiful, comfortable looking rug right in the center, but there's a way to do this as well, which I'll tell you about right now. So the right size of a rug is basically based on the layout of your living room furniture. Now how this works is you could be having a single seating or you could be dividing this into 2 seatings, a formal and an informal area. So each seating should have its own rug for it. So let's say if you have a single seating or a double seating, the method is the same. What you do is, for example, if you have a sofa on one side and let's say a sofa and an armchair on the other side, you have to make sure that the rug is placed in the center of it, making sure that it goes 6 inches inside the legs of the sofa or the armchair, So it's giving that perfect overlap of the rug, and at the same time just keeping a simple center table above the rug so that the most of the rug is visible and just few elements on it. Rugs come in a variety of types and colors and patterns, so choose which one works for you. You can go for something that is more neutral, you can go for something that has patterns, or you could go for something solid. But make sure that it goes well with the rest of your furniture. These also come in tufted, knotted, and so many versions of rugs. So do have a look at these because they're so easily available even online. All you have to do is click it and it's going to reach you in within a few days. But let's say you don't like something online, you can even get it customized. 3. Cushions. Now cushions is a super easy way to make your space look pretty and cozy at the same time. These come in a variety of colors, patterns, shapes and sizes. Now to find out the right cushion for you, there are certain ways that how you can do this. So let's say that you have a sofa, whether it's a 3-seater, 4-seater, 2-seater, doesn't matter. What happens is that you should put these cushions on the extreme ends of it, and you should put these in pairs of 2. So a bigger cushion goes behind and a smaller cushion goes in front. Now the front cushion is usually your accent cushion, which should have a bit of texture, color and print, and the back cushion should be something more on the simpler, subtler side so that it doesn't overpower the sofa nor the front accent cushion. So at the end of it, you're going to have 4 cushions per sofa, and the similar way for the armchairs is you can have either one single cushion or again a pair of a single one behind and one front cushion for an armchair as well. Would you like to know a quick hack about buying cushions? So normally when you buy the cushions, there's a cover and there's a filler inside it. Now what you can do is you can buy a bigger filler. So for example, let's say if you buy a 14-inch filler, you should make sure that the cover is one size smaller. So let's say it's a 12-inch. So what happens is that it's actually the cushioning of the filler which makes the cushion look bigger than it actually is without any creases coming and makes your thing look much neater. I'm going to tell you a small tip about artifacts which I'm going to be talking about right at the end of the video. But before that, let's talk about for artwork. Artworks, obviously you're not going to get a Picasso painting in your living room, so be smart about it. But at the same time, it should resonate with you. If you like landscapes, which is something like sunsets and seas, or you do like portraits, something about figures or human figures going all across the space, choose a painting that resonates best with you. The colors in that should not be overpowering, at the same time not too dull. Now when you're selecting the painting, remember the size is very important. If you have a slightly larger wall which is laterally longer than the height, so for example if it is 10 feet wide and only 4 feet in height, then it's important to go for a landscape mode portrait that is horizontally placed so that it covers a lot of the wall. Whereas if you have a slightly taller wall, let's say it is about 10 feet in height and 4 feet in width, then I would recommend that you go for a slightly taller portrait, straight vertical wall painting so that most of the wall is covered that way. Now you can either go for a gallery wall where you can have small paintings, or you can go for one large painting depending on your style and preferences. Wall panels. Now usually for a living room, the rest of the entire room has very simple walls. It could be something like an off-white or a pastel or very neutral colors, right? So now when the rest of the walls are simple, it's important to highlight at least one wall, or if you have a little bigger space, you can even highlight 2 walls. Now you can highlight this in so many ways. Of course, you can just call a painter and they can put a nice texture paint to it, or you can select a beautiful wallpaper that really uplifts the space. There are so many ready wall panels, like you can get charcoal panels, you can get flute panels, and trust me, it's just going to take about a day to install it, but after it's installed, you're going to love it. Trust me. Planters. Now planters is a beautiful way to bring that positivity and greenness to your space. It adds some life to that dead space, you know. You can choose a beautiful planter even online. Now in case if you're not one of those who likes to actually take care of planters, then you don't have to go for a real one. You can make it simply maintenance by getting an artificial plant. There's so many available online. By just a click, a nice beautiful tall planter can come in. Along with the planter, you should also have beautiful plants. So make sure that the planter, which is basically the pot in which the plant sits in, goes well together. As if you have a short pot, you can even have a tall planter, or you can have a tall planter and a shorter plant. It completely depends on how you want to make your space look. In case you do go ahead with a real and not an artificial plant, then make sure that it's getting enough sunlight and enough watering as per the requirement of that specific plant, as you don't want it to die, right? 7 artifacts. Now the hack I was telling you about artifacts is coming right up, but just before I get there, I want to tell you about how to select your artifacts. Now make sure when you're selecting your artifacts, you don't overdo it. Some people put too much in too little space and then it looks clustered and overcrowded. So a good way to do this is to actually ensure what you're putting where. Make sure that when you're purchasing these items, that you make sure that the height or the width of that particular item is going to fit in. Let's say if you have a niche which is, let's say, 10 inches by 5 inches and you end up buying something that's bigger than that, it's not going to fit in. So make sure that you check the measurements and the dimensions before you buy it. And the color should go well. So supposing you put like a bright golden in a calm little living room, it's not going to look good. So keeping that in mind, you can choose artifacts for your center tables, for your side tables. These are great ways. Even on your dining table, you can put a nice candle stand. For your center tables, you can put like a small clock, or you can even put like trays or platters. You can put books like stacking one on top of the other just for show, or you can even put small figurines, or you can, if you're an animal lover, you can put a small elephant or a dog or a dove. Trust me, this variety goes on and on. So the tip I was telling you about that nobody tells you about is that before you buy anything new, whether it's online or whether it's from a store, please look into your own houses. There'll be so many things. Like for example, if you've gone on a holiday and you've bought a cute souvenir, why don't you try to use that instead of spending on buying new things online? For example, if let's say I traveled and I went to Bali, I got a small surf souvenir. I use that as my artifact on the center table. Or let's say I bought a beautiful plate from when I went to Portugal. On that plate, I had put in some pictures of me and my family. I put that by my center table. Not only does this make this personalized, but it saves you cost. And it actually makes it look much cuter because you're actually putting something, because you have memories attached to it. So it's something that you will always cherish. I can guarantee you that these 7 tips that I spoke about are super quick. They're going to be on a budget and it's going to completely give you a makeover. So definitely try them. And if you have any comments or questions that you would like me to answer, then do comment in the section below. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And of course, hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. We have some really super interesting topics coming up soon. See you.